evening, everyone. This is Manali Raj. Welcome to the CSA Relay News Bulletin presented by Chanakya IAS Academy, Patna. In this segment, we demonstrate about the daily important highlights from the perspective of a civil services examination. Let us have a brief overview of today's headlines. Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for revamping 508 railway stations. A state of emergency has been declared in Ethiopia amid Amhara clashes. FATF trying to prevent overuse of counter-terrorist financing tools in non-profit sector. Tamil manuscripts from 18th century found in Armenian monastery in northern Italy. 5% of birds in India are endemic according to Geological Survey of India publication. Today's synoptic reports are about Is sugar surplus leading to a crisis or not? Why did Meta block Canada's access to news reports? Moving into the details of the news, the redevelopment work of 508 railway stations was launched by Prime Minister on 6th of August at a cost of Rs 4,470 crores. The main aim of redevelopment project is to improve the facilities for passengers. Under the Amrit Bharat scheme, the government is planning to revamp 1,309 stations. Currently, only 508 stations revamping will be launched. 24 railway stations in 10 states are being redeveloped under the Amrit Bharat scheme. 1,813 crore has been allocated. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus is allocated to 24 railway stations. This station is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The wide arenas are being developed for passengers to rest and recoup while they wait for their train. On 4th of August, the government of Ethiopia announced a state of emergency. This emergency has been declared after several days of clashes between the federal security forces and the local ethnic militias in northern Amhara region. Intense fighting broke out at the beginning of the week between the Ethiopian National Defense Force and the Fano militia group. The Tigray conflict, both armies and federal forces fought together. The federal government seeks to centralize the power. Recently, the government tried to force the Fano militia group to lay down their arms, and after which the tensions flared up. Amhara is one of the 11 regional states of Ethiopia. Regional state has its own police force. Financial Action Task Force is looking to revise its current recommendations aimed at safeguarding non-profit organizations from being abused for terrorist financing to ensure that they deliver the organization's legitimate intent. At its October plenary, the FATF will take up proposals to revise the FATF standards recommendations non-profits, and its interpretive note also adopt an updated best practices paper on this issue. In June 2022, the plenary had agreed to consider amending the recommendations and established a project team for this purpose. Subsequently, a draft amendment was prepared. The revision seeks to address the problem of over-application of preventive measures to the NPO sector in some countries, recognizing the negative impact this can have on legitimate NPO activity. As per the FATF's draft proposal, countries should develop an understanding of the different degrees of terrorist financing risk posed to the non-profits and corresponding levels of mitigation they require. The draft text adds that the country should be mindful of the potential impact of measures on legitimate profit activities and apply them where they are necessary to mitigate the assessed terrorist financing risk without unduly disrupting or discouraging legitimate activities. Stating that there is a diverse range of approaches to identifying, preventing, and combating the abuse of non-profits without undue or discouraging their legitimate activities, the FATF suggests that the country should have a clear policy to promote accountability, integrity, and public confidence in the administration and of these organizations, undertake outreach and educational programs for stakeholders, and work with the non-profits to develop and refine best practices. Countries should also encourage non-profits to conduct transactions via regulated financial and payment wherever feasible, keeping in mind the varying capacities of the financial sectors in different countries and in different areas and the risk of using cash. Palm manuscripts from the 18th century titled Gyan Muarchi have been discovered in the Armenian monastery in the northern Italy. Tamil Bharatan, a doctoral scholar of the Special Center for Tamil Studies at the JNU, was allowed access to the manuscripts. This translation is most likely by Michel Bartoldi, known in Tamil as Gyan Prakasasamy. This is a prose text from the early 18th century, likely the 1720s, has been printed several times by the Mission Press in Puducherry. The library had categorized the manuscripts as Indian papyrus Limelic language 13th century. The authorities are not aware that it had been written in Tamil. Those in charge of the monastery are of the opinion that the Armenians in Chennai have brought the manuscripts to Italy. A recent publication by the Geological Survey of India points out that about 5% of birds found in the country are endemic and are not reported in other parts of the world. The publication titled 75 Endemic Birds of India was recently released on the 108th Foundation Day of the Geological Survey of India. India is home to 1,353 bird species, which represents approximately 12.40% of global bird diversity. Of these bird species, 78, that is 5%, are endemic to the country. Of the 78 species have not been recorded in the last few decades. They are the Manipur bush quail, listed as endangered by the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, with its last recorded sighting in 1907. The Himalayan quail, listed as critically endangered, with its last recorded sighting in 1876, and the Jordan's cursor, listed as critically endangered, with its last confirmed sighting in 2009. The publication points out that the 75 bird species belong to 11 different orders, 31 families, and 55 genera and exhibit remarkable distribution patterns across various regions. The highest number of endemic species have been recorded in the Western Ghats with 28 bird species. Some of the interesting species recorded in the country's biogeographic hotspot are the Malabar grey hornbill, Malabar parakeet, Ashambhu laughing thrush, and the white-bellied Sholakili. 25 bird species are endemic to the Andaman Nicobar Islands, and the Andaman Nicobar Islands must have developed because of geographical isolation of the region. Of the 78 endemic species, 25 are classified as threatened by the IUCN. 3 species, Himalayan quail, Jordan cursors, are critically endangered. 5 of them, endemic birds in India, are categorized as endangered, and 17 are vulnerable, while 11 are categorized as near threatened on the IUCN Red List. Today's synoptic report is about, is India's sugar surplus leading to a crisis or not? India became the world's top sugar producer in 2021-2022, passing Brazil. But the extensive use of resources in sugar production is depleting rapidly, leading to a potential crisis in the sugar surplus and high exports are a result of policies such as the fair and remunerative price scheme, government subsidies. India's top sugarcane growing state rely heavily on the groundwater for irrigation, concern of over the groundwater depletion. Why did Meta block Canada's access to the news reports? On August 1, Meta announced it will block news content on its Facebook and Instagram platforms, Canada, following the enactment of the Canada's Online News Act on July. The Online News Act requires digital platforms with strategic market dominance, Google and Meta, to negotiate fairly with the Canadian businesses for the use of their content. Google and Meta will be required to enter compensation to the authorized news publishers, Canada, under government oversight, with a minimum contribution based on their revenue. Government schemes in news. National Handloom Day 2023 is celebrated on 7th of August. It is observed to commemorate the launch of the Swadeshi movement in 1905. It is also celebrated to recognize the contribution of the handloom industry to socio-economic development and to raise awareness about the industry. This year, the 9th edition of the National Handloom Day is celebrated in India. National Handloom Day is celebrated all over the country under the aegis of Ministry of Textile. On the same day in 1905, Swadeshi movement began. Movement encouraged Swadeshi industries and Swadeshi spirit, including goods. In 2015, the government decided to designate 7th of August as National. The first National Handloom Day was observed on 7th August 2000. Some text in news. The total profit of the public sector banks in Q1 of financial year 24. During the April-June period of the previous fiscal, all 12 state-owned banks had recorded a total profit of 15,306 crore. Bulk drug imports from China have soared in financial year 23. According to a report by Care Ratings, import of bulk of drug from China have soared in terms of both value as well as volume from 64 and 62% in financial 14 to 71 and 75% in financial. That was all for today. Aspirants can avail the PDF of today's news from the description link of this video. Stay tuned to our channel for standardizing your preparations. Thank you.